fam, it's Coach Rye from Functional Flex Team FFLEX. Today we're going to break down your back anatomy while performing pull downs. A couple different grips for you, give you a few ideas of what you're actually working when you're doing this very traditional type vertical pulling exercise. We're going to check out the back here, you guys. As you can see, we got our Super Jack bodybuilder diagram right here. And the back is going to get worked in a few different ways depending on the exercise we're doing. One important thing to note for all of the back exercises, okay? Your arms are also going to work to a degree. So your biceps, can't really see them in this diagram, it'd be on the front of this dude right here, and into your forearms, okay? Those zones are always going to work when we train back because pulling muscles are going to work together here in these types of exercises. Biceps are going to pull, translate into the lats, etc. Forearms, mainly going to work because they're stabilizing you the whole time. So what parts of the back are we actually training in general? What kind of muscle are we looking at? I'm going to tell you guys a few. So we got the lats right here. This is the latissimus dorsi, this kind of purple shape right here in this kind of triangular zone. That is the lats. That's actually what you're training most of the time when you're doing these vertical pull type back exercises or back training in general. As you can see, they start down here and they're going to sweep up and connect. They actually connect way under here in the shoulder and kind of come back in there. So they're a lot bigger than they actually look because we have superficial muscles on top of them. But that is the primary mover in every back exercise you're going to do. That's going to be the one that shapes you out, gets you this V-type taper that everybody's always looking for, whether it be male or female. That's what we're primarily working in these exercises. However, there's some stuff going on in the upper back here you guys can see. We're talking about teres major and minor. So some of these muscles in here that are real small that give you that shape and that definition when you're on stage or you're just trying to look jacked to the beach, whatever the fuck you're trying to do, okay? Those are there as well. Another muscle that's going to get some work in the back is going to be your traps. So it's this diamond type triangular kind of muscle up here in the upper body. That is the trapezius. And that's going to get worked here by default. It's going to also get some work on shoulder day and stuff like that. So we got a lot of different stuff going on. Then of course down here in the low back we're going to have different spinal erectors and things like that that are going to support the spine, let you work all these muscles the way you want, okay? So that's a little bit of an anatomy lesson for you. It's good for you to know the muscles in your back because then you can train them better. Point is, I'm going to tell you real quick a couple different grips on the lat pull down and what kind of stuff you're working. So if we're taking a wide grip on the lat pull down, right? We're getting a wide grip on a kind of pull down bar, or you're doing pull-ups even, whatever. You're primarily going to be targeting in these zones. So we're going to work the lats straight up. Lats are going to get worked here big time, okay? Because again, we already talked about their primary mover. Secondary is going to be your biceps and your forearms. We already talked about that too. However, we're also going to get some muscle activation going on up in these zones right in here, these tiny little zones of the teres major and minor, rhomboids, all that kind of stuff. So really, we're looking at the pull-up or the pull-downs with a wide grip, training the entire back, okay? So everything is going to work in here. All these different mechanisms are going to get some work to some degree. It's kind of like going to hit every muscle in your back when you do these. Okay, so if we change the grip now to the second most common grip, right, a close grip. So if you get on a close grip, V-bar or other kind of, what are those things called? Versagrip, I don't even know what the fuck they're called, Magnum grips or whatever. You're going to get a close grip. We're actually going to exclusively isolate a lot more just into the lat now, okay? Your biceps, of course, still going to work. Forearms still going to work. We already talked about that. But this is going to actually hit your low lats a lot harder than a wide grip, because on a wide grip we have all the shoulder stabilization things going down, but when we bring the hands closer in together, that takes a lot of that out of the equation, okay? So it becomes a lot more of the pull coming from the low lat zones in here. That's how you're going to shape this lower area, and it also adds quite a bit more thickness to your back overall than doing a wide grip, okay? So if you think about a wide grip kind of pull down, that's going to train the width. A close grip trains the thickness of these muscles, so it's going to really thicken out your back. Think like three-dimensional, not like wider and wider or whatever, okay? So then if we talk about another one that a lot of people don't do, which is still a great exercise, I don't really know why nobody does it, is the behind the neck pull down, okay? And I still program this today. Everybody bitches about your shoulder stuff. It's not even true. Point is, if you do behind the neck pull downs, pull-ups, whatever, we're going to get a lot of work in the lat, okay? Again, this guy's going to work here all the way up. And then we're going to get a little bit extra in the high lat zones, okay? So the higher pieces of your upper, lower lat, as funny as that sounds. But basically, like, what I'm talking about is this zone right here. All right, so it's gonna be overall, everything's gonna work, but primarily you're gonna target just kind of that underarm zone coming in right here to really shape out that V taper even more so. Okay, so again, in this exercise, we're not going to get a lot of activation up in here. We're not going to get a lot of work in here. We're not going to get a lot of work from the traps either. All of those things are kind of coming out of the equation due to the hand placement when you're pulling the bar behind your head. So that's going to hit the high lats. It's going to really shape out that sweep for you, and that's going to be super solid. Okay, so those pull downs, you guys, to recap that real fast for you, wide grip is going to train basically all of everything right here. That's going to hit everything in the lats, the upper back, etc. Okay, close grip's going to hit these lats real good and really develop that thickness for you, not work on the upper back as much at all. Behind the neck's going to hit low, the full lat basically, but also specifically in this zone here at the top. Okay, your forearms are always working, your biceps, they're always working. And if you're talking about training the lumbar spine, right, if we're talking about training like the spinal stabilizer, spinal erector, these things are mainly just working in stability, so they're actually hardly working at all when we train these three movements. Okay, so your spine in this scenario is usually being pulled upward, so it's not really per se a loaded position unless you're doing some kind of crazy whack pull down. So just a second note for back training, it's not really relevant to pull down exercises. This lower area of your back that you actually want to make really strong and keep in good condition for many reasons is primarily done by doing proper stabilization work while you're doing things like heavy rows or deadlifts, etc. These are going to stabilize, kick on. So basically, that's your three kind of pull down variations that are going to target your back in different ways depending on what you're trying to do. So if you want to shape things out differently, you can target other ones variously, but here's what I'm going to recommend for you. If you're training your back, train all these movements. Train them all. Do wide grips, do close grips, do behind the necks, do whatever. If any of it causes pain, obviously you don't want to do it or force it or whatever. Some people have a hard time with behind the neck, whatever, great, work on your mobility, do it later, or don't do it. Doesn't matter. But the point is you want to have variances in your training. So whether or not you do these all in the same workout, up to you, your coach, whoever, whatever you're following. But you should vary these up and do these all at some point or another to get the best muscular development, to really tie this shape together, to get the thickness that you want, the strength that you need if you're a competitor, the shape, the size, the proportion, the definition, everything you need to kick fucking ass. If you're just an average everyday gym goer, you need a strong back, you want one, it's going to look good aesthetically, and it's also super healthy for your spine right here, which you want to keep. Coach Rye is out.